I've got my board at quite a shallow angle for this one. It's half the size I normally paint. It's quite small. It's about 7.5 inches by 11, something like that. Or what's that in centimetres? The paper size, I 11.5 by 7.5. So the actual painting size is 10.5 by 6.5, thereabouts. Quite small, but I want to do some wet in wet on this Arches paper and just show various textures. Now it's this funny thing how when you watch YouTube you come up with all sorts of ideas watching other people, and of course it's no surprise that what they're doing comes into our own work, and I hope what I'm doing comes into yours. Nothing wrong with that, as long as you don't put their signature on it and pass it off as someone else's, but you don't copy anyway. Just use the idea. And one I watched this morning by Lindsay Weirich, American young lady, well she sounded young, only heard her voice. She was doing a snow picture. It was snowing outside of the house. I don't know when the video was made, but it was just a nice little one. It took me back to the days when I used to experiment with partly wet and partly dry. But I'll wet the paper all over. It's wet in wet, and I'm going to use two colours. I used to use well, any combination really, but for a snow scene you want something cool and something warm. So Ultramarine and Burnt Sienna seem to be the way to go. So I will use the height probably. I'll put it where I can reach it. I've got my camera over my head really, looking down. Here am I. I can't get it in front of my head looking square on. That's too much to ask for. I'll just give this a wet with this Kolinsky sable. Let it soak in a little bit. Right, MPD subscriber from St. Petersburg, Russia, asked me if I would send greetings. I don't know if it's male or female, but MPD, if you're listening or watching, hello from London. Greetings to Russia. Okay, right, so while that is a bit wet, I'll get a bit of blue and a bit of sienna, and we'll put in now should I put sky in this? No, I'll put a lot of texture in. Just a bit of background, let the water take the paint. Just a little bit of background. Be careful with the brushes flick. Get a bit heavier with that blue there. This all dissipates. But we're just painting a background, and we'll get warmer as we come into the foreground. I should put a sky in, so I'll put a very faint sky of burnt sienna and blue. Very light. It's a bit of warm. I'm not going to mess about with it. Right, okay. Need a cloth. I'm working a bit back to front here. My brushes are on my left. What I normally do is to have my big water pot on the right on my big table, but I'm working away from the table a little bit, and I've got a pot, big yogurt pot, with a handle, well, like a strap handle, and I've just draped it over the locking wing nut on my herring easel. Right, let's put in some more darks into there. Not enough. This is a sort of colour that used thickly becomes your dark rather than the Payne's grey. So we can go quite dark with this, but remember the painting is wet. Try and get your tree shapes. Okay, let's just have fun with it. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not copying anything. I'm just showing you the possibilities with a decent paper and wetting wet. And in here, I will put some trees in, but while it's wet, I'm going to use my hake because I want to get some texture. And the hake is a fabulous brush for texture. Look, warm, bit of dark. Look at that. Just dipping the back of the tips. Nice and just touching the paints. Just, no, it's quite thick, so I'm just putting this foreground in, just show some grasses. I was also watching David Bellamy. Check him out on YouTube. One of the great Welsh artists. I'm sure he is Welsh. So if you're not David, I apologise. I bought this brush from him years ago when he was demonstrating for the art group I belong to. This mop, he uses a squirrel, or squirrel brushes. But I don't use it, hardly. I tried to use it for washing in. So I don't really paint on a scale large enough to warrant using that. Okay, so let's put in a bit of a bank there. And with that blue you can get, it's almost a green. So it's a sort of snowy picture. I'm going to put in some bushes here. As the paper dries, you can get more dry brush. So after light covering of snow. Now I'm overdoing this, but I'm enjoying it. It's just makes you want to do it, doesn't it? Right, get this dark up, a greeny mix of blue and burnt sienna. Just drop it. Don't overdo it. Okay, so we'll just go darker blue, and in here we'll just I've got a double. So just a little bit of bushy stuff going off into this, well, into the wilderness. Right, clean the brush. I'm going to start putting in some light trunk colour. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to leave the centre 3. So since the light's coming from the sort of, let's say it's coming from the right hand side, so we're putting a bit of grey. Still very wet. Right, now we'll put a bit of dark on one side, thicker. No, it should have been dry really. Okay, well that'll be right. I'll put in some ivy over that. I'll dry the paper a bit, so take your headphones off. Oh, turn it on. Okay, well that accident we can turn to our advantage with the hake. We can put in some ivy on there. So happy accidents. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? So we've sort of appear to have rescued that. Let's get some more twiggy stuff in here. Try not to use the rigger. Warm a bit of this up here. Okay. Oh. Look, you get very fine grassy lines with the hake almost dry. Look. Right, I'll put a few little ends on here with the rigger, I think. But let's have a greeny bush there. I won't put another tree in. I'm just going to get just the blue and that other blue and the brown. Well, actually, the raw sienna, burnt sienna, is a dark, very dark red. Lovely, my favourite colour. Mixed with a blue. You see that? So let's just put in a little bit of texture or a bit of calligraphy. Right. Just a little bit of texture on the base here, just to stiffen up a little bit. Right, okay, I'm going to just do a little bit of rigger work on that. Just a little bit. Oh look. Oh, well. Done now. Probably the rigger is too dry. Let's just wet it a bit more. Okay, I'm not going to do any more to that. I'll put a signature on it and I'll peel off. I will use a smaller. No, I won't. I'll use a pen. Right, okay. Let's. I'll do something else in a similar vein. Right, let's just peel off the tape. What did we do before masking tape? What a fantastic invention. There we are, a pretty little smoothing, almost May. Right, I'll let's zoom in a bit on that and show you what I've done. I could put a figure in it, but I won't. Oops, come out. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I thoroughly enjoyed doing it. Thanks for watching. I'll do another one now. Bye bye.